Hey, what's up everybody? It's the People's Crypto. I'm back again with another video. In this video, I'm going to discuss a couple things. Uh, One of the first things I'm going to discuss, and I'm going to show you this video, it's from the Exponential CEO, George Ball. He has changed his tune supposedly on cryptocurrencies, more specifically Bitcoin. He's now an avid supporter of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I'm not surprised by that. A lot of these wealthy and affluent individuals who were previously in the traditional financial market have for years bashed Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. This whole entire new sector, they've been bashing it for the longest time. And now I think they have probably been buying Bitcoin that entire time. And now they are seemingly allowing us to buy it. However, I do believe they've been buying for years and years. So I guess they have tons of crypto now. They have tons of Bitcoin, probably tons of Ethereum. And now it's time to let us regular folk buy into the market. But luckily, if you've been listening to me and many other crypto YouTubers or any other crypto influencers online, you know that we've been telling you for the longest time, dollar cost average, not investment advice, of course, dollar cost average, and just, don't give up hope. And remember, Bitcoin is digital gold, and there's probably not that many left. There was 6,000 that went missing. There was the guy that bought a pizza for, I think, some ridiculous amount of Bitcoin. He lost all of his coins. There's so many people that lost their coins in that whole Mt. Gox scandal. If you don't know what Mt. Gox is, I suggest you look it up on YouTube. Basically, it was one of the first exchanges, and people bought tons of Bitcoin on there, and unfortunately, they got their Bitcoin stolen because the exchange went down. Supposedly, the information behind that is a little sketchy because no one really knows what happened, but apparently the CEO somehow lost everyone's crypto, lost everyone's Bitcoin. So it's kind of crazy, but you can find it on YouTube or any other platform. It's like all over the place. I think they even did a documentary on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken, but it should be there. But the whole point and purpose of this video is I just want to show you how, the media and how Wall Street is completely crooked. They say one thing and they do the other. If you stayed in this market, if you just started buying Bitcoin and other cryptos that have utility, of course, you are way ahead of the game and you will probably be well off in the future. I would just say be very, very careful who you tell to buy crypto, or who you share, don't tell anybody how much Bitcoin you have. Please don't do that. That's going to be extremely dangerous in the near future. That's like showing people your bank account and you're a billionaire. You don't want to do that. You're going to make yourself a target, especially for people who we're going to have a lot of cyber criminal activity in the future. So you just want to be very careful, and you want to make sure that you protect yourself at all times and you don't release that type of information. That's like the equivalent to giving out your social security number. You don't want to do that. But I'm going to just play this video. You take a listen, and it's interesting.
S&P 500 flat Friday afternoon amid concerns about economic growth. Our guest today, George Ball of Sanders Morris Harris, says summertime is no time to kick back. Let's see what he means by that. He joins us from Basalt, Colorado. Welcome, George. Now, you say don't kick back. It's time to take a look at your portfolios and possibly make adjustments or readjustments. What do you currently see? What's a scenario you see that would justify investors making such moves right now?
Well, the market right now is what people want to call the summer doldrums. Really, I think the market is suffering from the boredom of a set of knowns. COVID will be with us through the first quarter of next year. There will be a vaccine. Um, you've got a wash of liquidity, which is really what's driving and holding the stock market up right now. The risk of an election, but really with 71% probability that Biden will win, 29% probability that Trump will win. That's pretty much a given right now. So the market's looking for, or is waiting for, a new spark. And that spark's likely to come into ignite, as it often does, right after Labor Day. So the time to reposition the portfolio is before the fuse is lit, or when the fuse is lit and hasn't exploded yet, which is probably now, Fred.
Well, George, given the scenario that you just outlined, what moves should investors make right now? I'm assuming it's predicated on a Biden-Harris win?
It's predicated on the Irish punters, the Irish bookmakers' odds, which are usually right, about 2.5 to 1 that Biden wins. A Biden win is not in and of itself a catastrophe for the stock market. If you believe that lower taxes are good for corporate earnings, well, you would like Trump to win. But the announced Biden tax policies are about as Biden benign, or at least as Democratic benign as you're going to get. So what's going to happen that changes? I think that both traders and investors are going to worry about what happens when you can't kick the can down the road in terms of stimulus or subsidizing people any longer. And the approach of the end of that road is going to be a lot closer by the fourth quarter than it is now. And therefore, both traders and investors should and probably will realign their portfolios substantially.
Well, George, what assets should investors get into, say, outside of equities?
I've never said this before, and I've always been a blockchain, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin opponent. But if you look right now, the government can't stimulate the markets forever. The liquidity flood will end. And sooner or later, the government's got to start paying for some of the stimulus, for some of the deficits, for some of the well-deserved, very smart subsidies that it's providing to people. Are they going to raise taxes that high? Or if not, are they going to print money? If they print money, that debases the currency. And probably even things like TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protected Securities, can be corrupted. So the very wealthy investor or the trader probably turns to Bitcoin or something like it as a staple.
Wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. I mean, we heard Jamie Dimon talk about Bitcoin before.
Jamie's at least a partial convert. I'm not sure that he's a total convert. And then the notion isn't to hide or to seek a tax refuge, but to have something that can't be undermined by the government and that won't become worthless if the currency becomes worthless, or at least if enough Robin Hooders happen to believe that. If the Robin Hooders don't want to trade stocks as they have, where are they going to put their money? There are no yields today. And so Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency becomes a very attractive, either long-term, I want to make a safe haven for my money, or a short-term speculative bet. And I think it's a good, I think it's where many people will turn after Labor Day, Fred.
So it's Bitcoin, huh? Well, thanks, George, for your investing tips. Our thanks to George Ball of Sanders Morris Harris. I'm Fred Katayama in New York. This is Reuters. Have a wonderful weekend.
And there you have it. And that's another person in the Wall Street traditional finance sector that has come out now, and they're fully supportive of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, remember Warren Buffett? He was completely against gold. He sold his banking stocks, most of them, He's probably going to sell more. He's probably going to buy some more gold miners because gold is supposed to reach all-time highs because of this quantitative easing, which is basically the printing of more money, and the money is not backed by anything. It used to be backed by gold. And quick summary, President Richard Nixon in 1971 took the United States off the gold standard, officially making the United States dollar a fiat currency. A fiat currency is essentially money that is not backed by any precious metal or any asset. So there you have that. And then here's another article that goes on to say that Buffett bought gold, will buy Bitcoin. Morgan Creek Digital co-founder. It says Morgan Creek's digital co-founder believes that while Buffett himself is unlikely to buy Bitcoin, younger people working at his investment firm will. Jason Williams, co-founder and partner at hedge fund Morgan Creek Digital, predicted that the famous investor and business tycoon Warren Buffett will buy Bitcoin. In a tweet shared on August 15, Williams pointed out some of the most recent investment decisions of the American billionaire and predicted that he will end up buying Bitcoin. His tweet basically says, Buffett sold banks and bought gold. He will buy Bitcoin soon. Williams was referring to the most recent changes to the portfolio of Berkshire Hathaway, where Buffett is chairman and CEO. Fortune reported on August 14 that the firm sold bank stocks alongside airline stocks and bought Barrick Gold, a Canadian-based mining company whose stock price is correlated with that of gold. Berkshire Hathaway sold Goldman Sachs stock alongside cutting its position in JP Morgan Chase by 61% and selling some of its Wells Fargo and PNC holdings. The report suggests that Buffett may be anticipating increasing loan defaults caused by the coronavirus-related economic downturn, which could affect banks and their stock prices. As Cointelegraph reported in May 2018, Buffett has been rather negative about cryptocurrencies as a whole. Notably, he said Bitcoin is probably rat poison squared. While Buffett past comments about crypto make his direct investment in Bitcoin seem rather unlikely, William believes that his multinational conglomerate holding company, Berkshire Hathaway, is likely to buy the coin. It's the young managers and analysts that push the gold trade and BTC trade. He won't even know it when it happens. As Cointelegraph reported, May 15, Max Kaiser, the founder of Heisenberg Capital and an early Bitcoin investor, suggested that Buffett's investment in gold could push Bitcoin's price to $50,000. He suggested that the positive sentiment around gold implies a higher valuation for Bitcoin. Global 100 trillion fund manager Biz is less than 1% invested in gold. With Buffett now moving into gold, expect global allocation of 5%. AUM implies $5,000 gold. Expect a 1% BTC global allocation, 1 trillion. This implies $50,000 for Bitcoin. And there you have it. So it may not be Buffett himself, but the people working in Berkshire Hathaway, the younger investors that may eventually dip their toes in Bitcoin. Obviously, they'll probably get his blessings because of this whole economic uncertainty. The banks are going to do horrible, and the rumor is that the banks will potentially be the ones that cause this next financial catastrophe. However, it may be a multitude of things. It may be the college bubble bursting, because a lot of young college students or high school students are maybe not going to college because of this whole pandemic. Usually kids go to school, they want to live in dorms, and they want to, mingle with the new freshmen, the upperclassmen. That's probably not going to happen because everything is moving online. Some universities have tried to go back to the way things were, and that's not working because of a rise in coronavirus cases amongst the faculty and also the incoming students. So most universities have moved to online learning. So that's a potential problem. Then there's the defaults on the mortgages. That's also a problem. And then you have this mass unemployment. That's also another problem. And there's just so many other things. There also may be mass homelessness. That's another problem. So there's a bunch of things that's colliding at once. So we may get one gigantic domino effect, or we may just get a crazy, another crazy black swan event sometime. They're saying it's September. Who knows? No one really knows. But what we do know is that people are running to gold, silver, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies with utility. That we do know. Another interesting thing, which was referenced, Max Kaiser just referenced this. Warren Buffett will start panic buying Bitcoin at 50,000, just like Peter Schiff. If you know who Peter Schiff is, he's a Bitcoin basher. He hates Bitcoin. He's a gold bug. And listen, don't get me wrong. I think if you buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin, you'll do absolutely fine. I'm not particularly 100% gold. I'm not 100% silver, and I'm not necessarily 100% Bitcoin. I do have other cryptos as well. I'm extremely diversified, but the point is, you want to make sure you exit this financial system because it is going to crash and burn, and you do not want to be inside of this this sinking ship. You want to make sure that you're on the life rafts and you're on another boat to paradise, because if you are still stuck in the system, you will crash and burn. And unfortunately, a lot of people who are now big time stock traders who were never traders before, or big time value investors in the stock market now, which I think is crazy. These people are praising the stock market. Little do they know, we're about to get probably one of the craziest economic collapses or stock market crashes of all time. It's going to be insane. And while that happens, people will have already bought their Bitcoins. They'll have already bought their Ethereums, their Litecoins, you name it. They'll already be out of the system. They'll have their gold and silver already set aside, and they will do great financially. It's going to probably be, like I said, the greatest wealth transfer ever. It's unfortunate. They were bashing Bitcoin all of those years. They were probably buying it at the low. And I believe that was the entire strategy. It sucks, but it is what it is. Like I always say, if you have any friends or family that you care about, maybe get them $20 worth, or try to get them a million Satoshis. It's like, now, since the price went up, I think it would cost you about maybe $125 or $150 now to get a million Satoshis. But that's the best you could do at this point. Another thing I want to direct your attention to is this. So Bank of America says it had a display issue following zero balance complaints. So people were checking their accounts. And some client, this is a tweet that they had sent out. It said some clients may currently see an inaccurate account balance when viewing their account summary in online banking/mobile. Clients should click the individual account view for the correct balance. And that's troubling. You know, people are already stressed out from this whole public health crisis. And imagine you logging into your Bank of America account and then you see a zero balance. Pretty annoying. And this is probably going to keep happening. It's unfortunate. But this is, I think, just a precursor to what's the inevitable is going to be. It's not going to just be Bank of America. It's probably going to be a ton of other banks too that have these glitches and these issues. We don't have those problems in crypto. We don't have those problems in Bitcoin. I mean, in some instances, if it's a bad project, yes, you may have some weird anomalies. But for the most part, if you buy your Bitcoin, you don't have that issue. The only issue we have right now is currently with the exchanges, more specifically Coinbase. If something happens, if the price goes up, for some strange reason, they crash all the time. That's why I'm a strong believer in removing your digital assets from these exchanges immediately. Because you don't want a situation similar to this happening where you see a weird balance or you can't access your money. That is extremely troubling. With cryptocurrencies, you are essentially your own bank. Let's take a look at the current prices. But wait, let me not jump ahead. I do wanted to point you to this article. This is a great article, and I'm not going to read the entire thing. But it's basically how Wall Street stole Bitcoin from the people in a coordinated effort of fear and greed. I'm going to just sum it up real quick, but you should read it. It basically talks about how they manipulated the price. They went on the cryptocurrency websites. They went on CNBC, CNN, and basically bashed it, propped it up, and then when it smacked down to $4,000 or $3,500, I believe that's when a lot of these wealthy investors were scooping up Bitcoin. They were obviously doing it over the counter. Over the counter essentially is not buying directly from your Cash Apps, your Coinbases, your Binances. What they would essentially do, they would probably still go to these people or these miners, and they would buy it. I would say they'd buy directly from them. They wouldn't go online and actually do a transaction. They would bring money, whatever, and make the transaction, and they would just give them the Bitcoin. There was a lot of that going on, so there's really no telling how much Bitcoin is actually left. But when you have George Ball and you have other wealthy individuals, now praising Bitcoin, now giving the green light for regular folk and also for people in Wall Street to buy Bitcoin, that is highly alarming, and it's only a matter of time before we see new all-time highs, and it'll probably be out of reach for your regular investor or your regular person. So if you're a 9-to-5er, you probably will never own one Bitcoin. Hopefully you hear this recording and you see this video early and you somehow manage to at least get 0.28 or something reasonable. But yeah, this is a great article. I would definitely suggest you read it. You can find it at medium.com. It's a really good read. Let's take a look at the cryptocurrency prices. Right now we have Bitcoin back at $12,277.62. Ethereum is at $429.96. XRP is at 32 cents. Tether is at $1. Chainlink is at $17.20. Bitcoin Cash is at $318.31. Litecoin is at $66.68. I almost said Binance. Bitcoin SV is at $229.65. Cardano is at 14 cents. EOS is at $3.75. Binance Coin is at $23.49. Tezos is at $4.09. Stellar is at 11 cents. Tron is at 3 cents. Monero is at 94.17. Cosmos is at $6. Leo's at 128. Neo's at 16.81. IOTA is at 40 cents. And USD coin is at $1. That's going to wrap it up for the top 20. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're listening on YouTube. If you are listening on Library, please drop a tip and please repost the video. That is going to do it. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, and I will leave the link below. Also, check out the cryptocurrencyspace.com for any crypto prices, alerts, news, and other videos that I might be putting up. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you. And I will see you guys later.